morning, all bodhisattvas out there. Thank you again for giving me this chance to share my thoughts. And we are all very excited because Master is going to come back today. Yes. And hopefully maybe next week we could begin another session of Xunfa Master sharing with us. We're really so excited. So let me begin with my sharing on again the topic of true emptiness and wondrous existence. But the more I share on it, the more I feel very very sort of worried and sincere a little, because I realize Master's understanding of this truth is really profound, and she doesn't speak with her words. She speaks with her whole, the wholeness of Master portrayed the Dharma, not just the words, but the whole thing. And it's that whole complete, from all her actions, all her thoughts, from every second, not just the time when she sits up on the chair and preach, but all the time what Master has been doing is Dharma in action, and it's that virtue that she just manifested the Dharma through it. And what I could only share is just the Dharma through words. That is just a very tiny part of what Dharma is all about. And many a time I realized I fell into the philosophical pit hole where I just kind of loop around in the understandings, in the logical flows of what it probably means. But then really more importantly is how this Dharma is portrayed, which I couldn't share with my words because of my too little experiences, which I think brothers and sisters, your sharings will bring more light on it. And of course, our Master is a manifestation of that. So a disclaimer here, whatever I share, if it actually helps you, it's Master's wisdom. If whatever I share doesn't really make sense to you, it's my fault. It's really my fault. So sorry, and thank you for listening to me. Okay, so again, a very quick review of what we have shared about. Past few weeks, we have been talking about emptiness and wondrous existence, and the last week we shared about wondrous existence, and it's in the aspect of the more material world that we are talking about. And we have been, and one of the main topics that I shared was affinities combined, that everything around us are affinities combined. And so we see it as it is today. And because everything is affinities combined, and so we have three qualities to it, which we could understand by the fact that it's affinities combined. And these three things, that things will come and go. Because when affinities combine comes, when affinities disintegrate, then it goes. So this coming and going is very natural because affinities will come and affinities will go. So things will come and go very naturally. So it's just natural phenomenon. It's because affinities combine, and nothing appears as it is with no reasons. There's nothing that has no cost to it. There's nothing that has no other affinities to help it to become as it is. Everything is some other affinities combined. And so it will come and go. And then the second qualities we see is that it's ever changing, because each of these affinities that forms it, as long as when one of it starts to change, as time passes, things will change. Just like our body, the things around us, there's 4 seasons, we grow old, everything will change. And it's by tiny bits and tiny bits changes. It doesn't change structures, it changes. It's always changing. When you look at a stone that seems not changing, or a mountain that just seems never changing, but it's still changing, just that we do not notice it. And that is why earthquake happens, because earthquake is the accumulation of pressure of the tectonic plates, which like a few 1 to 2 centimeters per year. Such slow movements, but it accumulates, and so there's the pressure, and which becomes the earthquakes. It's very unpredictable, but we know from science, we know that it's ever changing of things, and so it happens. And so that's the ever-changing qualities. And then we also talk about how it's delicate existence, because just that, if you remember the video they've showed, how each affinity connects to another, and this connection is actually very delicate, like our water cycle, like our food web, our ecosystem. The whole environment itself is very delicate. And so just a very small change in terms of the Earth, 1 or 2 degrees change will have caused huge effect on our environment. I just saw news about the great coral reef. This place it spans thousands of kilometers of reef, coral reef, and this coral reef, we know that coral reef is a habitat for thousands of fishes and sharks and many different kinds of lives that are growing in the coral reefs. But scientists, investigating on this coral reef, have announced that this coral reef has passed this this point of no return. And so, because at least 90% of these coral reef have died away because of this global warming that we have been causing, and the sea temperature have increased too much. And so this coral reef is dying, and thousands of these lives that lives within this habitat are going away with it. And so we see how our world is actually delicate, our life is delicate, one breath not coming, so delicate. And when we know that, what we should have in our thought is just gratefulness. Gratefulness is all times to do what we could to continue to help these very wondrous affinities to sustain longer in this world. And today I want to go on further on this idea. How do we continue? How do we sustain? If everything comes and goes, then what continues? What is the thing that continues? What is the thing that sustains? And this is what I want to talk about. And it's also one of the most, I think, one of the most core idea of Master's true emptiness and wondrous existence. I want to begin with this excerpt from Master's sermon that says we should clean our heart often, so it's clean and neat. And this is true emptiness. This is the emptying out of all affliction and worries. But don't empty it too much, because so that becomes nothing left and no actions, no motivations, then there's no good. So keep something in our heart, and that's the wondrous existence. Keep wondrous existence in our heart, and that is Buddha's heart, the purest wisdom, the most sincere great love. Keep just that Buddha's heart in our mind, and we will have no attachment. How joyous and free would it be? So it is this Buddha's heart I want to share about that Master actually uses many different ways to talk about it, which many times we thought that it's a lot of things Master is talking about, but actually it all points towards the same thing. And what is that? It's true suchness. True suchness that is truly empty and wondrous existing. But Master used a lot of words to talk about its true suchness. And how many different kinds? I just listed a few that I could gather. And these 7 kinds of different angles of talking about on this topic. But these is in Chinese. Later I will try to translate. So Master talk about 佛心, 佛性, 真如, 法身. There's the Buddha's heart, Buddha nature, the Dhammakaya. All these are talking about the same idea that everyone has. And then there's the Tathagata Garbha, which literally means containing Tathagata. And we know that Tathagata is the Buddha or true suchness or the Buddha nature in Sanskrit. And then so containing a Tathagata means literally actually means Buddha nature, the nature that we all have. It's just that it's been covered up by a lot of our ignorance and afflictions. So it's covered in it, but we all contain, we already have it, just like the gem, we already have it. But it's there, it's there. So it's containing the Tathagata, Ru Lai Zhang. And then there's also, Master use 第九识, the ninth consciousness, or the Amala Vijnana, that's the ninth consciousness. So we have been talking, we know about the consciousness. Usually we talk about eighth consciousness. The six in front, that is about the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, or the consciousness from our senses. And then there's the sixth, there's thoughts. And then the seventh that distinguishes between which I like, which I don't like. And then so I do this, I do that. This distinguishment and go into action, it's seventh. And then all the actions that we've done will plant a seed into our eighth consciousness. It's like a storehouse that stores all the good things and the bad things that we've done. So that's the eighth consciousness. The Master say, actually, we have been using mostly these previous eight consciousness, but in fact, we have a ninth consciousness within, and that is Buddha nature, the true suchness, the Tathagata contained in us. That it's all the same thing. That we have it already, and it's pure and clean. And when we can generate our thoughts and actions from that ninth consciousness, then all the thoughts will be pure, and the actions we do will be good, will be from that Buddha nature, and it's what we already have. And so that's that ninth consciousness, which is another word to talk about the same thing. Okay, then we also must also use words like 法性、无为法、真谛、道理、实相, which is loosely translated to principles, nature, truth, things like that. The ideas, usually things that we think as logic, or but actually that is the logic, the principles of true happiness and wondrous existence, which is actually the same thing as the Buddha nature. That is the principle. It's the path that we follow, and that is the Buddha's heart, Buddha's nature. So it actually still back to the same thing. It's also wisdom life that we all very comfortable about. That wisdom life we know because Master used it as a comparison to life. Life come and go, but wisdom life sustains. And why is it sustained? Because wisdom life is truth, it's principle, it's the ninth consciousness, it's the Buddha nature. We have attained it. And so these principles, this Buddha nature never appeared and therefore never disappeared. It was just always there. And so our wisdom life is forever, is sort of immortal, but it's not in that sense immortal, but it sustains, it's there, because when our life leaves abiding to its principles, that is forever, our life becomes forever. It's just like how Buddha's life has been up to now. His wisdom life, his Dhammakaya, it has sustained up to now, and then being portrayed, being manifested from Master's action, from Master's words, and from our Tzu volunteers' action, for our Tzu volunteers' words. And so for all the venerables, they are preaching the truth, the true teaching, the true Dhamma, they are all manifesting this wisdom life that's been from Buddha's time, and even earlier before from Da Tong Zhi Zheng, for the great penetrating Buddha's time, and there's countless eons ago, and even before that. So there's all the while this wisdom life, this principle has been there, but it's been manifested in different ways, in different forms, and continue and be manifested in all different ways up to now. Yeah, it continues. So it's this wisdom life that we could sustain in us although our life comes and goes, wisdom life continues. Okay, so again, it's back to that same idea. And then there's also passion and great love. Compassion and great love, that is the kind of the core quality of this Buddha nature, because it's all encompassing. It's all encompassing, so that when we see suffering, see it, when we feel it, how can we not have action? How can we not do anything about it? If we do nothing about it, thinking that it's empty, thinking that suffering is empty, thinking that the feeling of other beings is nothing to do with us, then there's a line out there. We actually separate ourselves from the other being, other things. Then there is no longer principles. There's no longer Buddha nature. There's no longer the kind of all-encompassing. It's not all anymore. It's not all anymore. So when things are generated from a Buddha nature, there'll be no differentiations. There'll be no there'll be no distinguishment. And then there will be love. There will be compassion, because suffering is out there and we see it, we know it. We must do something about it. And it's just because we're one big family. It's like we are one. We are one. It's just what we need to do. Like Master always says, is what we have been doing and we should be doing, just because we are part of this universe. And in fact, it really doesn't need to have any reason for compassion or love, because it's, well, I don't know explain it anymore. Yeah, the kind of idea. So that again is back to that Buddha nature. It's so truly empty, yet wondrous existing, right? And then of course, we'll talk about great nirvana. Nirvana without the nirvana itself would mean empty out afflictions, without worries, without attachments. And often than not, if we deflect a little, we'll fall into that small vehicle thinking that, I myself, I want to be liberated from this birth and death cycle. I want to be happy all the time. I don't want to have sufferings. I don't want to have attachments. I don't have afflictions. So I cut myself away from the world so that I'm not affected. That there's nothing to affect me, and so so I attain nirvana and a state of no afflictions. Or even if I'm in this world, I want to make myself not affected by anything. So other people suffering, it's nothing to do with me. It doesn't affect me, so I don't want to care about it. It kind of easily fall into that idea. If we talk about the very selfish nirvana, then they will easily fall into that. Master speaks of great is a true emptiness within, where really there's no worries, but yet there's afflictions, there's attachments out there, and we hope everyone, all sentient beings, could be joyous, could be away from sufferings, could be eliminated from afflictions, and that's our wish. And that becomes great nirvana when it's all sentient beings happy and joyous and all walking on the Bodhisattva's path. That becomes great nirvana. So after this, I have a few slides of I each took excerpt from Master's teaching to each explain what these are. So just now I actually very quickly explain. Very quickly, I'll just go through this. Buddha's heart is everyone. We all have the ability, the possibility to attain Buddhahood, and just because we already have it, we already have the Buddha nature. And then we'll talk about containing Tathagata, and that's everyone's nature. The nature that we already have is pure. It's covered by its defilements or habitual tendencies. So if your ignorance, arrogance, that's by the only arrogance and doubt, and creating a lot of wholesome karma, which bury our pure nature deeper and deeper. So what we need to do is just uncover it, right? And so this is the same idea. And then we talk about ninth consciousness, but ordinary beings often use just up to the 8. We want to cultivate so that our ninth, the pure and undefiled ninth consciousness, could manifest. And that is from our true suchness that we already have. And then we talk about the principle, the nature, the truth. That is the ultimate principle. And That is the dharmic nature. So dharmic nature, ultimate principle, true suchness, they're really the same thing. Master is speaking on it. It's the same thing. In the wisdom life, how we should serve our life, that's short, but with this life, we gain the boundless wisdom life that never fades. And such is the truth. And there's compassion, great love. Love is our true suchness, because this pure nature is brightness, is enlightenment, is eternity. It's not impermanent, it's eternal. And it's love. It's love that crosses boundaries, that crosses all religions. We all speak the same words as love. Love my neighbor, love, is compassion. It's the same thing. And it's the great nirvana, which I forgot to translate. So let's keep that. So these are the same ideas. It seems very different. Actually, we are all talking about, Master is all talking about this, pointing towards the same existence, that wondrous existence, or true emptiness. The kind of state of mind that is out there. It's not empty, it's out there. And it lasts, it's eternal. And it sustains, and it's about love. It's very understandable, it's principles, it's truth. Yet it's there. So the kind of idea. Many a time, people would ask, philosophers would ask, such idea, you're talking about containing a Tathagata, or this Buddha nature that we all have, it feels like there's something there like the soul, or me, and I, the soul, Linghui, the soul out there, which actually because one of the core idea of Buddhism is that it's anatman. That means there's no self. There is no self. But when we talk about the nature or the Rulai Zhang, the containing of Tathagata, or there's this nine consciousness that's always there, from lifetime after lifetime, it's always there. It feels as if you're talking about soul. That there's this self that we cannot see, but is there, that continues. So is this really what Master mean? Which is in many occasions, Master speak of like to be soul, or she speaks of our next life. We vow to come back to this world again, to this Saha world, Bodhisattva, for lifetimes. So it sounds as if there's a soul. But I actually found this one excerpt from idea that self, the non-self, no self idea, which I totally agree very much, which is states, Master says, can a person exist forever? And this person will disappear. But when it disappear, does it mean like truly gone into nothingness? No, not really. But it passed on. And this, when Master says passing on, it's like it's doing recycling. Like when we do recycling, we disintegrate things, separate these things back into their various natures, their materials, and then we recreate, but everything is combined again. It's cool. I mean, there's no, it's not about soul that's continuing. It's no affinity is combining, separate and combining, but it's just there. The affinity is still there. The principles, the truly wondrous thing is still there. And so that's why when affinity is combined, the thing is there again. And then here is the affinity is now combining, and then you're there. And so it's not really about a soul, but this back into this principle that is just there, and we are all part of it. We're all part of this universe that makes this universe. That principle is always there. Exactly. So it's very interesting. So I want to create a little idea, and so we want to worry when people talk about no self or selflessness, and then yet we're talking about lifetime after lifetime. We are talking about afterlife. It feels as if there's a soul, but when we talk about afterlife, it's actually kind of in this idea, cycling. Yeah. Okay. And I want to go on further. Talking about ignorance, because it's something very close to true suchness. We are talking about how our true suchness has been covered up by ignorance and afflictions. And how does this whole idea means? Master just say something very interesting, that ignorance is actually the nature, or the nature of ignorance. The nature of ignorance is true suchness, is true emptiness, which kind of put an equal sign to ignorance and true suchness, which is, I never thought of it, because I always think that true suchness is the pureness, the most clean. The ignorance is that dirty, the unwholesome. But Master kind of put an equal sign to it. Which, when she explained it, is very interesting. She says that I kind of touched on that 2 weeks ago, where she says ignorance is like ice, and then true suchness is like water. So they are the same thing. They're all kind of H2O, but it's true suchness is when it's flowing. It fits any containers. It's ever changing. It's just as it is. It's the nature of water for H2O. But ignorance is when it freezes. These things freezes, and we're attached to ice that cannot flow anymore. So that's more like ignorance. So let me use the picture. So our heart is kind of like this calm lake that has no ripples on it. This is the true nature. It's supposed to be like this. The nature is like this. It is like this. But when the environment, the different conditions, the different situations, our heart, there'll be thoughts which will naturally generate from our heart, which is like ripples. The ripples will generate from this very calm lake as we meet the environment. But if we are not attached to these thoughts, then the ripples eventually will be back to calmness, right? So this ripples comes and goes, but if we're not attached to any of them, it's just like the things passing by a mirror, in front of a mirror, going through the mirror, nothing is left in the mirror. So it's back to that true empty nature. So these thoughts are natural. It comes and goes. But if these thoughts that comes out, we are attached to it, it becomes like a piece of ice. These thoughts, the ripples that comes out of this bubble, this droplets comes out, we are attached to it, it becomes like, it freezes, it becomes ice. And it's like, it's, for example, when we meet people, we will have different impressions of people. Some people that once I look, I feel joyous. Some I don't feel. I feel not so. I feel okay. Some I feel like there's a bad affinity between us. There'll be these feelings coming and going. If I'm not attached to it, if I change, I turn my mind around and not attached to it, then these thoughts will come and go, and then I'm still okay, and I'm still not friends. We are still a big family. But for example, I see this person I don't really like, and so that idea that I don't really like, the idea freezes in my mind, and so that becomes an attachment. That becomes and then there's a small ice that is there that no longer change. And then the next time I meet, I see that his hairstyle really I cannot take it. That becomes kind of like a bigger ice. And then the way he speak, cannot tahan. It becomes even bigger than ice. And then this whole idea just keep freezing and freezing. And so and accompanying his whole emotion and all my words, the way I think about him, the words, the actions to him, all becomes bad. That I don't like it. The idea just keeps freezing and freezing, and then it becomes so stubborn that every time I meet him, that feeling of the emotion of disgust just comes up so naturally. So it's like this ice. So I kind of this is my own word. I call it like habitual bodily emotional response. So it's from habitual we keep freezing and freezing these ideas, making ourselves very stubborn to thoughts, and that becomes a very natural emotional response every time we meet people that are of this certain kind. But why I purposely put bodily? Because I want to remind myself that actually it's not my true nature. Our true nature is the lake, the very peaceful lake. It's not me, but it's the body. This body, the brain, the nerves, that creates these we are worried about, and this is how we actually can make good use of worries. Putting to good use, these thoughts will generate, the ripples will come when we see disasters, when we see people, are they safe? We worry about people, and these thoughts will come and use that thought, use these ripples that are generated to become the passion, that strength to help others. And so that's making good use of these thoughts that will come naturally. Make good use of it. So that's why Master says, this turning consciousness into wisdom, the 4 transformations of consciousness into wisdom, how we should transform our 5 consciousness into the wisdom of accomplishment, and the 6 into the wisdom of the wisdom of wondrous. I never forgot English. Sorry, but you know what I'm talking about, the four wisdoms. Yeah. So this transformations of consciousness into this wisdom is this transformation that we're talking about. That this worries is natural, it will come, but make good use of it, and it becomes bodhi, becomes something that will not with it. So I want to share a video of our Mexico disaster relief. It's one of our local volunteers out there. They never know Tzu Chi before, but hear the way and see how she speaks, the feeling.
Me gusta ayudar porque, para empezar, me hace sentir bien. Y creo que es algo que debemos hacer todos. Muchos estábamos solicitando el apoyo y pocos nos estábamos acercando para ayudar. Al menos los que estamos en una edad media, por así decirlo, pues yo creo que sí nos podíamos poner de acuerdo y ayudarnos entre nosotros a levantar escombro. Mi mamá tiene la costumbre de hacer de comer y invitar a todo aquel que lo desee, porque algunos se quedaron sin cocina. Entonces conozco a Tzu Chi y veo la oportunidad de ayudar con algo que me gusta, que es organizar, con algo que sé hacer. Yo siempre he creído que si Dios nos dio manos y pies que a otros les faltan, es para ayudar. Me conmovió mucho que ellos venían de manera desinteresada y sobre todo porque yo estaba pasando una etapa donde no encontraba el apoyo que necesitaba y yo me sentía muy sola. Y me sentía sola porque pues yo soy la encargada de la familia, de mi madre y de mi sobrino. Entonces llega Tzu Chi y empezó a hacer toda esa transformación. Y entonces dejé de sentirme sola. Eso fue lo que hizo, al menos aquí conmigo. Y luego al ver que estaban ayudando a más personas, fue ahí donde me dio más fuerza y donde dejé de lado todo lo que tenía yo que hacer aquí y ya me puse a ayudar. Pero eso fue lo que hice. El sanar la parte donde me sentía débil, me sentía sola.
I think I know I like this video very much because from her words, the how you can really see how Cici have helped her to be away from the worries that she had been feeling, the loneliness, to take care of the family. But you really can see how she melted, the whole heart already melted, and then now that she's together with all the people, her people, Mexican people, and together with all the volunteers from all over the world, and it becomes oneness. She's no longer lonely, and then that humbleness she portrayed, and then that kind of people-to-people feeling that she's giving the hug to others. And the more the phrase she said inspires me a lot also. She says that God gives us the hand and feet, and so we have the ability. And so the more we should go and help people. And I think that is the idea that we all are very blessed. We are all sitting here listening to the Master's teaching. We're all very blessed that we are safe. And all the affinities, our family, our past life have been all very good. And so that's why all these affinities combined, we are now here. And this is wondrous affinities. So we have it, the blessings. The more we should cultivate more blessings for others. And this whole idea, I think it's really Buddha's heart as our heart, Master's mission, last mission. And these people out there in Mexico, they don't know Cici, but now they are part of a big family. In fact, the whole world, we all have these, we have these families out there that have the same mission, the same heart as all of us. When seeing all this, so joyful and so happy. And they are ending the distributions already. And my father is there and he'll be coming back. I'm really looking forward to hearing more sharing from him and also from many of our brothers and sisters out there that have been there and seeing from their eyes this truth manifesting in this world. So this is my sharing for today. Thank you so much for listening.
Regarding Brother Yopi for wondrous sharing. Today we have sharing from Plank as well as from Sutra.
I would like to share my my feelings here. At first, I was a bit reluctant to attend these classes, but once I started the class, I was very happy, and the Dharma class in me made in Dharma. Okay, so it has changed my life a bit. I was a bit okay, and then I'm looking forward to these classes now. It is, as we all have Buddha's nature, it has changed my my feelings, my emotions. I'm beginning to I feel it has changed my life. This enlightenment is wonderful. This wonderful feeling is something I never experienced before. It helped me to reduce my anger, my feelings, then what I say, depression. Now what enlightenment is very wonderful feelings. One thing I've learned about here, we have to love everyone. This compassion and great love makes me a new person. I like to help more. I want to be part of Suchi.
No, thank you, Sister Radha. I know the feeling, the touching moments that you couldn't really put into the feeling that you couldn't really put into words. But is there the feeling? I get what you mean. I think we all get what you mean. The love, the great love that we see from all over the world, how our master and three volunteers have portrayed it. That feeling is really hard to put into words, and that's that feeling. So thank you for sharing. We feel each other. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters from around the globe. Okay, today is the third Saturday, so all of us from Selangor area, Klang area, we will gather at Jing Hall. So you can see all the people with us today. Hello, from Kapong. Yes, I tried to take. Okay, these are the people from greetings from Jing Kapong today. Okay, we have with us Sister Yap who is just commissioned this year. She is from Kanajaya, so she came all the way to share her insights with us. Sister Yap, okay. Sister Yap, okay, we heard about your stories during about this commissioning that you nearly missed attending the certification this year. Maybe can you share what is such?
I really missed the boat because I didn't have enough dollars. But I don't want this great opportunity, golden opportunity to sail away. And I made the extra effort and I swam to the boat. I made it and I came back with the ship.
How do you do it, sister?
Well, I worked slightly harder to get enough donors. And I made it. I'm very happy, and this is a lifetime opportunity because life is impermanent, and I am not young anymore. Time is running out for me, so I must make this effort to get permission.
And Sister Yap, see, actually, I think today, she's very passionate in recycling. Every time she sees people, she will talk about Suji. She still does it not really because she wants to get a certification. So she still talk about Suji to all people she knows and get the new voice into that Suji. Okay, sister. Okay, we heard that you that you started attending the English Dharma online, and maybe what's the reason for you to persist in continuing listening to this English Dharma?
Well, I started coming from the Sintasiang sometime last year, but I didn't quite catch up. Maybe my understanding is limited. So I stopped for a while, but I came back this year to get something every now and then to earn it like it.
Yeah, she's very diligent. She's very humble. Sister, okay, maybe those who have yet to go for certification that they are still worried, what are the message for everyone? Okay, not only them, for all the other volunteers.
This is a very good opportunity because I saw that there are so many great things we can do, and they are all very, very good, even though it's priceless. We all should come for Sintase and also join Suji more activities in Suji.
This is actually during commissioning. Okay, before this, because she's from another center, not from my center. During commissioning, we were in the same group. I saw her, actually for her, okay, she's quite elderly, but she's very happy. She can walk faster than us and carry the new backpacks. For her, actually, there is this year we are certified, the newly volunteers, they are certified at the elderly one, they did not walk so far because the distance from the hall to the dining area is quite distant. So the elderly volunteers, actually, they can sit near the hall itself, but this sister, she choose not to. She's very obviously, she chose to walk with us cover all the far distance, and she also wakes up very early in the morning, attended all the sessions, she never missed. We didn't know that, okay, initially we didn't know that she couldn't really sleep well, but yeah, she never said, she never complained anything, she just attended all the training very diligently and very attentively. So she's really a role model to all of us, especially when she talks about 5G. For each, actually, some people, they may choose to stay at home, or, I mean, being elderly, they feel that maybe they want to do other activities, but not this sister. Every time she has an opportunity, because that she will join recycling and participate in all the CC activities. Now she also loves to listen to master teaching, so she is a good role model. So every time we feel like slacking, we look at this sister and then we say, oh no, cannot buy. We really have to seize the opportunity. So guys, sister, yeah. Okay, back to you, Brother Joe.
Thank you, sister, for the sharing, and congratulations for certifying. Thank you for sharing. And indeed, really, like what they say, love is eternal. It's always there. It's like this Buddha nature. This path, this fortress peak, is always there, but it's at a distance. If we don't start walking, we won't reach there. And no matter how detailed we study the map, we are not going to reach there also, not unless we start walking. And this getting commission, I think, is this decision to start walking, to stop following the map, start walking, and then we'll reach about this peak. So this commissioning is really the greatest decision you could have to begin. And congratulations to you and to all the certified brothers and sisters out there. Congratulations, we are all on this path now together. Let's do it together, hand in hand. 共伴有今天, no? Hand in hand for this path with love towards the same enlightenment, and with the whole world, all sentient beings enlightened and happy. So thank you for sharing.
Well, good morning, brothers and sisters around the world. Okay, sorry, we are trying to find the questions, but meanwhile, these questions are the past few weeks' questions we haven't had the opportunity to answer until today, and Karen for the opportunity to try to answer these questions. It's the question about, there's these sisters who talked to Master that about her issues with the mother-in-law. She went to the home and told Master that, Master, my mother-in-law always scold me and always complain about me, so I have this trouble tolerating her. Sometimes she even called me stupid. So this sister, she was very sad when she spoke to Master. So Master advised her, okay, maybe you try to pretend like you didn't hear her. You pretend to be stupid, really stupid. You didn't hear what she's talking about, and just go on doing your filial daughter-in-law duties. So, okay, with that advice, this sister, she went back, she tried. After some time, she came back to the boat and said, Master again, okay, what's happened is wrong. So she told Master, this is not working. I try to act stupid, but I can still hear her complaining about me, and she's still not happy. I'm still not happy also. So Master said, this round you have to do it for real. So because last round we know we are acting, you still can hear. So if you are not doing for real, now you are really doing for real, that you're already so like innocent, so stupid. I think you can't hear what she's talking bad about you. You perform your filial daughter, good filial daughter duty. Not only that, also must have gratefulness at heart. Doing kindness to her, pretend you didn't hear her talking any bad things about you. At the same time, very grateful to her because she's still healthy. She does not need you to take care of her. Imagine if she's bedridden. Imagine if she's not about, she's sick. Can we still go out to do CC activity? Not only talk about CC activity, what about our work? Can we still go out to work? We can't, because there's an old lady, our mother-in-law, our mother, lying there. So that's why that she's still healthy. That's why she have to have gratefulness at heart. So this sister, she listened. After she listened to Master advice, she went back, and after some time she came back to the boat. And this time she told Master she's very grateful. She is very happy. She followed the advice and she take that advice in. Take Master advice, and it works perfectly well for her. Now her mother-in-law never complain about her. In fact, the mother-in-law praised her for being a good daughter-in-law. She also feels happy. See, okay, this time this sister really managed to apply master teaching and similarly, I also heard before there was a time another sister, there was this sister who brought her younger sister with her to see master. So this sister told master, every time my younger sister come to my house, talk to my mother-in-law, then my younger sister will tell me, hey, actually your mother-in-law is bullying you. She's standing me talking bad about you. Then this sister said, I find it very weird because I never felt that way. I always feel that my mother-in-law cares a lot about me. Then this younger sister told master, my sister actually she's not very intelligent. She is being bullied, yet she's not aware that she's being bullied. So master, hearing that, master said, your sister, this elder sister, she is really a blessed person. Her heart, this person, her heart is like very soft, like cotton. Whatever hard things drop on it, and not only it will not break, this very soft material, with very compassionate heart can absorb. So not only glass cannot break, whatever ball you throw at it, it will not bounce back. So she will, because the heart is so hard, so blessed. So she will take it. But for someone who is very sharp, who has a lot of high intelligence, but the heart might be like a hard floor. Throw a ball to it, it will bounce back very fast. Glass, it will break immediately. That's the heart of this very, sometimes I look at it, actually, I think it's true, because in this world, I can see sometimes a lot of people heart will be like that. Like the heart would, little remarks come to them, they can feel it, this person is talking bad about me, or they feel the word immediately. So that also reminded me to have the other person's heart, which is to have the softness. So, okay, I'm a mother with 3 children, and I'm very grateful that my mother-in-law is very accommodating, so I don't have that issue, and also have loving parents. My mother-in-law is no longer around, but when he was around, he is like a second father to me. So I'm very, very grateful. In fact, during my recent trip for the commissioning, I commissioned 2 years ago, but this one I left for 1 year. My mother-in-law, despite she's not very mobile, actually she did not come to my house. She made a trip to my house because she wants to make sure that she wants to help, to make sure that my own brother and my 3 children are well taken care of. So actually, I really owe my mother-in-law a lot. My sister-in-law is also on mine. I think I'm very much indebted to my mother-in-law and serve my parents. I always believe that what Master said, if we can't even serve the Buddhas at home, which is our parents and our in-laws, if we can't do that well, how can we go to the temple and pray to the Buddha and seek for blessing? I think it's very difficult for me. I don't know. Even if we go for charity, I really like to visit the shelters with elderly. So I'm thinking if I couldn't do it at home, it's very difficult for me to go out and treat others well. So it's very important that so pray that everyone. I know this issue is quite a popular question because I also have a lot of friends who we always share about this. Some people I don't know expect they may have some very troubled relationship with their maybe kids in-law, some to the other people, but a lot of nowadays we had daughter-in-law and mother-in-law issues. Sometimes I'll take the opportunity because we have a lot of cities, very good sharing. I'll share with them. I think it's like chapter 16, and the doctor with medicine, he will need the medicine for the children. The children know, those children, sick children, those with little sickness, they know that they are sick. They quickly take the medicine prescribed by this doctor and take it, and they will recover. But those with deeper sickness, they know that they are sick, but they did not consume the medicine. I think it's like the friends when I share these stories, I find that some of them they are with lesser, not so troubled relationship with the mother-in-law, but maybe some issues when they heard it, a lot of karma always looks very wonderfully now. They also afraid next time will come and have an entanglement issue with this person. So they will change, or sometimes with their children, we will probably take role model. No point telling a lot of people fighting with children if they are not really, we can't even do that. So a lot of them also they change because they want to be a role model for the children. Some with deeper issues, unfortunately, it's still not easy. So we also pray that everyone will have a chance. Actually, the teaching is wonderful. If they have more time to listen to the good teaching. If you can attend 3%, of course the best. If you can, at least they listen to more of master teaching. Because it's just a Dharma in sense the mission. It really permit into your skin slowly it will soften. I think for me personally, I think it will soften our heart. The compassion heart will open, then we will see things from a much broader perspective. Okay, kind of sorry for being so vague. Get back to you, brother. You think for the rest of the questions. Do we have time? Okay, so sorry, maybe brother, your questions will be next week. Okay, back to you, brother.
Thank you, Sister Jing, for sharing. It's awesome. You say so well. No, it's a question I couldn't answer because I'll never have a mother-in-law, so I couldn't really answer it. But thank you, Sister Jing. You answered so well, and we really hope that in the future, the Q&As, we could have people from different centers to answer, and we can hear wisdoms from different people and not from not just from us. Yeah, so everyone's wisdom combined together, it will be great. So thank you again for sharing. Time's up. So thank you, Sister Jing.